All right, go ahead and have a seat there, Mr.
Paradox.
Paradox, right.
Just Paradox. Just call me Dox for short. All my friends do. Is this thing on?
Yeah, don't do that. All right, this is reel number 1, interview number 1 with Supernaturals.
We prefer to be called just supers.
Right. So tell me, Paradox.
Dox.
Yeah. How did you decide on what power makes you super?
First of all, no super chooses his or her own gift. It is chosen for them. Although these gifts are supernatural, and it's how people nicknamed us supers, our gifts are not what makes us super. It's the giver of gifts inside us who makes us super.
So, Karis, that's an interesting name. What does it mean?
Well, it means gift. Now, sometimes that can be translated as grace, but either way, it's kind of how I feel in my heart that sometimes when I give, it's kind of a picture of grace.
So when did you first realize that you had a supernatural power?
Oh, I remember. This is very clear. When I was in middle school, it was right after Christ came into my heart and right after he made me a super. Anyway, there was this girl that was new. She came in probably the middle of the school year. She didn't really know anyone. She was kind of shy and not really having a hard time making friends. So one day I sat with her at lunch and we just struck up a conversation. Well, she started to, kind of compliment me on my necklace and said how much she really, liked it and how cool it was. After lunch, when I was in class, I just couldn't stop thinking about her and about her complimenting my necklace. I knew what I was supposed to do. So after class, I found her in the hallway and I ran up to her and I said, "Here, I want to give you this necklace, and this is a, symbol of hope and, future friendships." Wow, the look on her face and the response that she gave, I knew that I was so glad that I had responded to that urge to give. Well, there's more to that story, but that's when I knew that I had been given the power of giving.
So why do they call you the reader? I don't see any books around.
No, I don't read children's stories at the library. Too funny. They call me the reader because some people think I can read minds. But that's ridiculous. I can't do that. I can more discern people's hearts. I'm really the heart reader.
I'm not sure I understand. Can you explain a little more?
Well, sure. Like right now, I can discern that you're very frustrated. Yes? That your heart is crying for a purpose in life. And that you're wearing size 10 shoes and are missing your dog named Spike. But apart from that, my educated guess after, I think those thoughts are just floating around in your head. After interviewing these superheroes, yes, you're wondering what direction your life is going. Is that right?
All right, hey, cut the camera. I'm the one doing the interview here. So I've seen some of your work in local galleries, paintings, drawings, and carvings. It's amazing and so inspiring.
Yes, that's why they call me Aspire, because my work is inspired by God. Sometimes, when I'm working with someone on a project, and they're trying to describe the certain manner, I can suddenly see in my mind and imagine it on the canvas. My mind cannot stop, it conjures, and the canvas in a certain medium, it is there in my mind's eye.
So where did you go to school for your training?
I did not. That is why they call it a supernatural thing.
But isn't what you have really just a natural skill or talent that you just developed?
I was not born with this gift. I went to school to be an accountant. It wasn't until I was made a super that I discovered this gift. It's not very well known, but God did this with a few people back in Moses' day, and still he's doing it with some of us today.
Wait a minute. You're saying it's not the gift that made you super, that you were super before you even received your power?
Supers are made when Jesus Christ, the Holy Spirit, enters a person's life at that moment of salvation. That's the most amazing thing about supers, Christ in us. The secondary thing that happens the moment that Christ enters a life is that they also given a gift of powers. Sometimes those gifts lie dormant and a super is unaware of their new supernatural abilities.
Are you saying that sometimes a super has more than one gift?
Did you hear anything I said before?
So, Karis, you shared that you have the power of giving. Do you have any other supernatural gifts?
Oh, yes, I do. Now, it may not be as pronounced or as visible, but I also have the gift of mercy. Many times, my two gifts operate together.
No, at this point in my life, I'm afraid this is the only gift that I have. Wait. No, this is the only gift I have, yes.
So, do you wish you had more?
Well, I must admit there have been many times when I have had a discontented heart, if you will. I've dreamed of more powerful powers. However, most of the time I find myself overwhelmed with the enormous responsibility of discerning people's hearts. When I walk into a room, I'm constantly thinking, who's that? Who are these people? What's underneath, you know? There's always something to pray about. There's always something to get to the heart of. However, I'm starting to find that I depend on those with other gifts, wisdom, the doing things, the leadership. And I assume they need me too.
So, how did you get that name, Paradox, Docs?
After I stepped into my gift of helping, my life totally changed from being all about me to living beyond myself. It was that whole paradox of losing my life for the sake of Jesus, so that I could find my life.
You said you stepped into your gift. Was there a time when you were aware of your gift but didn't use it?
Yeah, I was super for quite a while before I even knew I had a gift. When I discovered it, I was ashamed at first. It seemed so belittling. I'm a helper. I ended up wasting years only using my gift on myself. But that's another story. But another super helped me to see my gift was given specifically to me to work my natural abilities. You see, I was someone that people called a jack of all trades. I was good at anything I put my hand to. I know that when I see someone who needs help, that I can, and that somehow my help can supernaturally touch hearts.
So you're no longer ashamed.
No, I love using my power for the benefit of others. It's still a choice of losing my life to gain it. But every time when I give help, I know it's going to lead something good. It doesn't matter if I see the end result of my help. I still get pumped. A lot of supers say the same thing about using their gifts. It's exhilarating because we sense God's pleasure. We all have our names for it. For me, I call it Helper's High.
I was on a whole different career path, totally opposite from my gifting. I didn't discover my gift until I got around the other supers.
So you had no idea you could create beautiful works before?
No, I was clueless. I knew that after being made a super, I had been given some sort of a gifting. I just did not know what. So I just started to, hanging out with the other supers and volunteering to help.
So it was sort of a trial and error period for you.
Yes, there was a whole lot of trial and error. At first I thought I should do things I was trained to do at the school, and accounting, administrative kind of thing. I was actually good at it, but it was not powerful. It sucked the life out of me. So I started volunteering in other areas. One time when I was pigeonholed as the administrator for a team project, I showed up for a planning meeting. The team was stumped, and I had a picture in my head that I knew that they were looking for. I didn't say anything, but went home and started to create. Non-stop for hours creating. But I called the team leader and showed the piece to him, and that's when he knew and I knew that something special had happened. That's when I had been made active as a super.
Active?
Sorry, that's That's super talk for when a super starts using his gift or her gift for the kingdom.
So, do you know how many supers are active or inactive?
No, impossible to discern. However, there are more inactive than active.
Why is that? Don't supers enjoy using their abilities?
Well, of course they do. But unfortunately, there's been this long period in the history of the church where only certain gifts were seen as important. Others were simply tossed away. And sadly, this was based on people who were in the spotlight or had a large role on a Sunday, for instance. So, sadly, many went inactive as a result of feeling they were unimportant. Some left the church, some just never discovered their superpower.
You say in the past. Has something changed?
God be praised, yes there has. Presently there's a new movement in the kingdom. It's very exciting. There's a recognition that church is not the small thing where people are suppressed anymore, but now all the gifts are appreciated as God intended it. You might say more doors have opened in the church and outside the church. Supers have begun to discover their gifts as great and useful for the front lines of the kingdom.
Well, that's great. All right. Thanks for your time, reader. That's it for interview number 1 with Supernaturals.
And seriously, about that purpose thing, we can get some coffee later if you're feeling cool with that.
Dude, let it go.